Well, good evening. No, good afternoon. No, good morning. It is 11:55 a.m. Central Standard Time, Sunday, July 29th. Welcome to this impromptu dive into the deep. Welcome. I know some of you at this live session, you may already you may be in your worship service or whatever you may be doing, and hopefully you will find value in this replay. And if you come by replay, would you please put in the comment section replay so I can come back to greet you. So again, I am Coach Sherry, the Preacher's Coach. I serve and support primarily women in ministry, helping women in ministry become damn good preachers. So welcome. If you are here, I need you to like, share, tag, whatever. I see you, Margaret Brown. So good to see you moving about this morning. Would you like, share, and tag somebody, inviting them to come? Hello, Melvin Carter. So good to see you this morning. Would you like, share, and tag? I need to, this is a quick conversation this morning about finding a local church congregation. What is it that you look for? Perhaps you've been in your church all your life and you are not thinking about going anywhere, or perhaps you are some things are moving in your mind about your local congregation. But this is really about me. I'm really sharing, and perhaps you can jump in somewhere it may hit you, or you may know somebody who is struggling trying to find a local congregation. So if you have been listening to me at any length of time, you know that I have been in church basically all of my life. I have been in church all of my life, and I have been in front of a microphone all of my life. You know that I grew up in Greenfield Baptist Church, 100 J.W. Davis Drive in Hammond, Louisiana. I am what you call Baptist born, Baptist bred. I'm not going to say all the way Baptist dead, until I die, because I don't know what the future holds. But I know that I am Baptist through and through, because I have tried to do some other things and go some other places. But what I found out is I'm a Baptist girl. How about that? I am a Baptist girl. So that means that I have been attached to a local church congregation, I guess, since around the age of 6. And for the first time in my life, I am not attached to a local church congregation. I'm not attached to a local church congregation. For some reason, I failed to abide by the Baptist church covenant, and perhaps you remember the church covenant where we had to say at least every third Sunday at Greenfield. You know, the big poster that was on the wall, and it talks about how you as a member of this church, how you as a member of the Baptist church would abide. And so one of the phrases in there, Miss Margaret Brown, is, and when you depart from this place, you will, as soon as possible, unite with another church of like-minded believers. So up until this point, that has not been a problem. So when I moved in to California, when I moved to California, San Mateo, then I joined Pilgrim Baptist Church under Dr. Larry Wayne Ellis. And so that was my uncle and aunt were members of that church, so I became a member of that church. When I left and came back to Louisiana, then I went back to my home church, Greenfield, and then at a point I also united with St. Paul Baptist Church under the leadership of Reverend Larry Cross. So then when I moved to Racine, Wisconsin, a lot had happened in my life. So there were certain things that I was looking for and certain things that I needed. Now, I went to St. Paul Baptist Church in Racine, Wisconsin. Work with me because I'm going somewhere. I'm going somewhere with this story. I went to St. Paul Baptist Church under the leadership of Dr. Lawrence Kirby. So, I was there a little bit, but then I discovered that I need where I was in my life. So St. Paul was like Greenfield, right? It was big, a lot going on. That's where the happening was going on, right? So growing up, Greenfield was kind of like a silk stocking church. What does that mean? That's where the professionals went. That's where the teachers and the professional people went. So when I went to St. Paul in Wisconsin, that's where my brother and his family was. But I needed something different. So what I did was I went to Zoe Outreach Ministries under the direction of Melvin Dwayne Hartgrove. And the difference for me was I needed something small and I needed something that was going to hold me in the space where I was. So this was a family church and they took real good care of me. And then when I moved in 2004, I had accepted my call to preach in 2003. So when I went to Alexandria, I was clear that I needed to be in a church that affirmed women in ministry. I needed to be in a church that affirmed women in ministry. I was in a different space in my life. So God led me to St. Matthew Baptist Church under the leadership of Dr. Joe S. Green. There were women in ministry, not just by word, not just Pastor Green saying, "Oh, I believe in women in ministry." He not only believed it, he showed it. So we were preaching, we were in leadership positions, we were in all of these things. So it wasn't just word, because some churches are just word, but they are not in deed, right? So now here I am in New Orleans, Louisiana, and for the first time, I don't have a church affiliation. So there are some things that I'm clear about in my life, where I am, what my theology is. I understand that I cannot be in a place that is oppressive and is not dealing with liberation, because I believe that Jesus Christ is the great liberator. So there are three things that I'm looking for, and I have been to several places. I have been to one that is not a Baptist church. I have been to a bigger church, and I have I've gone to a Methodist church. The Methodist church, I like it because I like what it stands for. But remember, I'm a Baptist girl. It's certain things also that I'm looking for being a Baptist girl in the Black Baptist Church. And there is a difference in just a Baptist church and a Black Baptist church. There's some things that I'm looking for. For 2 Sundays, I have gone to a particular Black Baptist church in New Orleans. And I might be on to something. I may be on to something. But I'm going to go a little bit more to just see if what I'm seeing and what I'm sensing is where I need to be. So there are 3 things that I'm looking for. And because I am a Baptist preacher, a Black Baptist preacher, I deal with alliterations, right? Meaning that my words are going to start with, my points rather, going to start with the same letter. So I'm dealing with S's today. I'm dealing with S's today. Are y'all doing okay? Give me a chat. Let me know if you are still here and if you are able to understand what I am saying. So these are the 3 things that I'm looking for: salvation, the social gospel, and solidarity. Let's say that again. I'm looking for 3 things: salvation, the social gospel, and solidarity. Now, let's go back over these. Salvation. So I'm already saved. So that's what I'm not. There are two tracks of salvation that we need to always think about. Salvation is not just a personal salvation, but we want a communal salvation. So what do I mean by that? So if you go back to the first salvation story, the first salvation story is not Jesus on the cross. We have to go back to Exodus. The first salvation story is the story of God delivering God's people out of the bondage, right? Out of slavery. Salvation literally means to free, to liberate, to snatch from hurt, harm, or danger. Now, it's only when we get toward the New Testament and we get to Jesus when we pick up this idea of personal salvation, right? So what do I mean by personal salvation? That you accept Jesus as your personal Lord and Savior. Most of us got that right, but we still deal in oppressive practices, right? When I mean by communal salvation, what I mean is that as a community, because the Exodus story was never about an individual. The Exodus story is about an entire people. It is about a group of people. It is about a nation of people. The first salvation story had nothing to do with a personal salvation. We swung and we missed that we want our communities to be saved. We want everybody to be saved. We want everybody to be saved, right? Not just saved from hell, but we need you to be liberated in your mind, your body, and your soul. When we talk about community, we want everybody. When we cross the Jordan, it's not just one crossing. We want everybody to cross. So I'm interested in a church that's dealing with not only personal salvation, but also communal salvation. Does everybody, which takes me to my second thing that I'm looking for. I'm looking for the social gospel. I'm not just looking for John 3:16. That's that, we want everybody to be saved from hell, but we need people to be able to live on earth as if they are living in heaven. So what does that mean? We cannot be so concerned about going to heaven that we miss what is happening in front of us. If you went to church today and there was nothing said about Memphis, Tennessee, if the pastor, if the preacher did not pivot that sermon some kind of way to deal with people sitting in the congregations, they have heard or they have seen that video, which means that they have been triggered some kind of way. If you have a black son, a black child, and your pastor did not deal with that in some kind of way, at least raise the name, at least pray for the family of Tyree Nichols. My friend, we have a problem. So social gospel is built on Matthew 25. So what do I mean? What is Matthew 25? I'm not caring about whether or not you get to heaven if you are not treating people on earth. If you are not treating the least, the last, and the lost. So many people think that when you get to heaven, that God has got a big ruler in the sky and is asking well, did you drink? Did you have sex before marriage? Did you do this? No. Matthew 25 says that the questions are going to be asked. Jesus says, how did you take care of my people? Did you feed the hungry? Did you clothe the naked? Did you, those who are in prison, not just a physical prison, but those who are in prison in their mind, their body, their spirits, their soul, did you take care of these? This is what Jesus is interested in. And so the social gospel tells us that we are dealing with more than personal salvation, right? But we want people to be whole right here on earth. So here's the tool again. In looking for a local church congregation, for me, I'm looking for salvational, personal, and communal. We're all gonna cross over. If I have something, you have something. We're gonna deal with community. We're gonna deal with community, and then the social gospel. Not just having programs, not just having usher days, annual days, pew rallies, Women's Day, Men's Day, Pastor's Anniversary. But are we making sure that people have decent, safe, and sanitary housing? Are we making sure that people are eating? Are we standing up for the least, the last, and the lost? Now, this may be tight, but it's right. And the third thing that I'm looking for, and this word may not work, but because it has an S, I'm going to use it because I think it speaks to what I'm talking about. Solidarity with each other. Solidarity with each other. A sense of belonging, right? The number one reason why people leave a church, sometimes it's not the doctrine, it's not the singing, it's not the preaching, but it's how we treating each other. Are we living in community? Is there a sense of belonging? That's my word, a sense of belonging. Are we? So when I first went to this church, right, being a new person, I'm looking for the grandmas in the congregation. I'm looking for the ones who will notice if you are missing, right? I'm looking for the ones who, that we have the potlucks and I'm looking for a sense of belonging, someone that I can call in times of trouble. And it's not just, everybody goes off to their own little silos. But there is a sense of belonging that when I walk in the church or when you walk in the church, somebody greets you, somebody smiles, somebody knows because they have been watching you when you're having a good day and when you're having a bad day. So we're going to I'm calling that solidarity, but I'm also calling it a sense of belonging. This is what I'm looking for. Salvation, personal and communal, social gospel, that we are a Matthew 25 congregation, and solidarity and a sense of belonging. That when people come in that door, we know who they are, not getting each other's business. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is every place I've moved, I've always had a godmother. Because I've always, since 2004, although I've had family near, I've not lived near my mom or my grandparents. So God always gave me a godmother. Somebody who looked out for me. So when I went to this church that I went to today, when I went to before, there was an older lady who began talking to me. And she even wanted to take a picture with me. I don't know why, but anyway. But today, she recognized me and spoke to me. That said something to me. And it's small enough that I can maneuver. That's what yours may be totally different. You may be looking for something else, but and in that social gospel piece comes because I am a ordained preacher. So I needed to find a place that not only talked about women preachers, but had you women preachers, and the women preachers were being used. And the first Sunday I went, they were announcing that they were ordaining women. I said, good God Almighty, have I found my place? Have I found my place? I'm not going backwards. I will stay at home every Sunday if the place that I go to on Sundays is oppressive. Now, I understand, just like racism, patriarchy is embedded. It's just a part of our life. But I'm not going to knowingly allow you to oppress me. I'm not going to do it. I've been through too much. I've developed too much. And I've gained too much to go backwards. But I just may be on to something. And besides, I remember what my grandpa always said. Back in the day, they used to allow visitors to stand. They all used to allow visitors to stand. And my grandpa would say these words. He said, if you catch a fella got to stutter or find that or come up with a church or can't think about their church name or their pastor's name, he ain't got no church. That's how I've been feeling. I never wanted to stand and not have a local congregation. But I also understand moving a little bit further than Grandpa's theory, that I needed to find a place that was going to be a safe place and a sacred place. Y'all talk back to me. What are you looking for in a church? Whether you are searching for a new church or you would envision for the church that you are now in. Y'all be blessed and may all be well with your day.